World Cup 2026 flights are getting out of control. Right now people are already seeing prices above $3,000 just to get into host cities like New York, Los Angeles, or Mexico City. And the worst part is, most people are going to pay it, not because they have to, but because they don't know there's another way. In this video, I'm going to show you how some travelers are cutting their flight costs in half, sometimes saving over $2,000, using a strategy that airlines don't really want you to understand. It's called the ghost flight strategy. And once you see how it works, you'll never search for flights the same way again. Let's start with the problem. When a city hosts World Cup matches, demand explodes. Millions of people are trying to get into the same locations at the same time. So what do airlines do? They raise prices, sometimes by 200%, sometimes by 300%, especially for direct flights into host cities. So, if you search for flights directly into places like New York, Los Angeles, or Mexico City during the World Cup, you're looking at peak pricing. But here's where the opportunity appears. Because while everyone is fighting to get into those main airports, very few people are looking at nearby cities. Cities that are close enough to reach by train or bus, but far enough to avoid the massive price surge. This is what we call a ghost flight. It's not a fake flight, it's a smarter destination. Instead of flying directly into a host city, you fly into a secondary airport nearby. For example, instead of flying into Chicago, you might fly into Milwaukee. Instead of Mexico City, you could fly into Puebla. Instead of New York, you could even look at Philadelphia or nearby regions. Now here's the key. These cities are often within 1 to 3 hours of the main venue, and because they are not official host cities, demand is lower, which means prices stay closer to normal. So instead of paying $3,000 for a direct flight, you might find something closer to $1,200 or $1,500, and then you complete the final part of the journey by train or bus. Now let's make this practical. When you search for flights, don't just type in one city, use flexible search tools, look at nearby airports. Use Explore or Anywhere features, and focus on regions, not just destinations, because the goal is not to land exactly where the game is, the goal is to land close enough, for much cheaper. Now let's take this to the next level, because there's another strategy that builds on this idea, and this one is more advanced. It's called hidden city ticketing. Here's how it works. Instead of booking a flight to your actual destination, you book a flight that has a layover in your target city, but your final destination is somewhere else. For example, let's say you want to go to New York. Instead of booking directly to New York, you book a flight to another city that connects through New York. Then you simply get off at the layover. Now, this can sometimes be cheaper than booking directly, but there are important risks. You should only do this with carry-on luggage, because if you check a bag, it will go to the final destination, not the layover. Also, airlines do not officially support this behavior. If abused repeatedly, it can cause issues with your account, so this is not something you want to overuse. But used carefully, it can unlock significant savings. Now let's talk about something that most people completely overlook: accommodation. During the World Cup, hotel prices in host cities will skyrocket. We're talking about increases of 200 to 300%. So, instead of competing for overpriced hotels, you need to think differently. One of the smartest options is looking at university housing. During June and July, many universities in the US, Mexico, and Canada are empty, and some of them offer temporary accommodation at a fraction of hotel prices. These places are usually safe, clean, and located near public transport, which makes them perfect for short stays during events like this. Another option is using AI-powered search tools to find less obvious rental locations. Instead of searching directly in the city's center, look at surrounding districts. Places that are slightly outside the main area but still well connected. Now let's talk about transportation between cities, because this is where most people make a huge mistake. They rely on flights, but during the World Cup, domestic flights between host cities will also become expensive. Instead, consider ground transportation, trains and long-distance buses. In North America, there are strong rail and bus networks that connect major cities, and they are often significantly cheaper than last-minute flights. For example, traveling between cities like New York, Philadelphia, and Boston by train can be fast, convenient, and cost-effective. The same applies in Mexico, where luxury buses offer comfortable long-distance travel at a much lower price. Now finally, let's talk about one classic strategy that still works: changing your digital location. Sometimes, flight prices vary depending on where you are searching from. By using a VPN, you can simulate searching from different countries, and in some cases this can reveal different pricing options. It doesn't always guarantee cheaper flights, but when it works, the savings can be significant. Now let's bring everything together. If you rely on the default way of booking travel, you will almost always pay more, because you are competing with everyone else. But if you step back and approach it strategically, flying into nearby cities, using alternative routes, choosing smarter accommodation, and thinking beyond direct flights, you can dramatically reduce your costs. The difference is not small. We're talking about saving hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, and that's the difference between a stressful trip and a smart one. So, before you book anything for World Cup 2026, take a moment, rethink your strategy, and make sure you're not overpaying for something you could get for half the price, because once you understand how the system works, you stop playing by its rules.